Hey, what's going on? Coach Luca here. And today what I wanted to do is actually give you a situational kind of thing to happen and give you guys some tips and drills for hip stability and core stability that will help improve balance on this foot. And if you get like trigger points, meaning you get spasms like here in the TFL or your lateral quad, you know, how to kind of get rid of them. So here's my point, right? It started flaring up for me and I did a bunch of soft tissue work, which is great, it's important. And it would get rid of it, but then it would come back. But what was really going on was like that this hip was unstable, so my body just created some trigger points and spasms. So I'm just gonna give you guys, and like thankfully we have an incredible network, so our physical therapist, Dan Swinsko, who we collaborate with, I was basically going to him, we're going back and forth on this, and he gave me some drills that I did in the past. I'm like, oh man, okay, let's see if this works. Bam, got right rid of it. So I'm gonna show you guys a couple of drills that are great for warm-ups in general. So if you feel like your hips are unstable, like your lunges are wobbly, you have knee pain, you know, you start getting trigger points up here or in the quad, like this is just a fantastic drill. It's like works core stability, works hip stability, and so we're gonna go through a couple of these. All right, so first one is we're gonna go into a single leg RDL position, okay, with a light. This is a light bell, okay? The bell is not meant to be heavy and to load muscles. This is more about stability and having that stability endurance. So I'm gonna go into a good position, and this is the leg that was bugging me, right? And I'm gonna do 5 rows. So I'm gonna hit my 5 rows. I'm trying to stay stable. So once I hit these 5, I'm trying to feel my whole foot on the ground. My back is nice and flat. Now I'm gonna start passing it from one side to the next, right? Because we have to keep stable. So back and forth is 1. So we're gonna hit 5 here. I might not even do all the reps. Now I'm gonna start going to pass between the legs. Notice my back leg sometimes touches the ground a little bit, and I'm gonna go the other way. Feeling that glute, like, oh shit, and popping through. Woo! And then I'd go on the other side, right? So you're definitely gonna get a big burn there. But the point of that is you're stabilizing that foot, keeping your spine nice and tall, and then, like I said, doing your switches, doing your rows, so the core has to turn on and your hip has to stabilize. And so that in itself just really helped tune this down. The second one, which is a drill I first found like from Dr. Stuart McGill a long time ago, is the airplane. And this can be very, very challenging. I would say it can be very challenging without support. So I'm gonna show you guys without support. You're gonna see me wobbling and kind of, I say, working through this. So I'm gonna go into my hip hinge position. My arms are out. Now, I'm going to open my hip up, okay? All the way, think belly button to the side, and then control it back down. Touch the ground a little bit. And now, watch, I'm gonna rotate my belly button this way. So imagine my belly button's facing this way, and now it's opening up all the way to the side. And again, notice, eccentric control. Now, so that might be very challenging. So you can have like a foam roller here. So I got to, not trying to support yourself too much on this, but enough, right? Where I'm opening this up and then controlling it back down. I'm feeling my whole foot. I'm sitting into that hip. Feel a big stretch, activation here in my glute med. And you're working that for 5, 6, 7, 8 reps, right? So first of all, challenging. What I'm doing is I'm training to control that pelvis. So my spine, that's rotating, right? So I'm not compensating. So those 2 drills are fantastic. Like I said, as part of warm-ups, if this is something that you deal with, also great for, you know, if you have low back tightness. The airplanes are great because you're teaching, like I said, yourself to be able to control that pelvis, control it together. So those 2, plug them in. Like I said, the single leg drill, start with 5 reps and you can work up to 8. So 8 rows, 8 passes, 8 across the legs, even 10, right? But just work your way up slowly and know that you can also, you know, tap the ground a little bit. If you're losing your balance, just tap the ground a little bit, but keep that support on one leg. The next 2, because like I said, that single leg stability here is also dependent on, I would say, your core. So this is very, very simple, which is your side plank, right? So side plank position, nothing spectacular here, but we're going to get that elbow right underneath, I would say, our shoulder, squeeze our butt, abs are on. I'm gonna drive that elbow away from my lats here, right? And just keep this nice, great position. And I'm just feeling it activating here, okay? You don't have to do this for long, 20, 30 seconds. It's more about turning things on, okay? So that's your first core drill. Second core drill is gonna be our dead bug. We're gonna add a band. So we're going to our dead bug position. Hands up. I'm gonna punch this one down, punch this one up. So activate the hip flexor, right? This hand's going down. That core's gotta turn on. Other side. Breathing out. Same thing, we're going 6 to 8 per side and turning core on. And the last one, I'm gonna use the lighter bell, but imagine that like your farmer's walks are actually essentially kind of like a standing side plank, because the weight's trying to pull us this way. Now I'd go heavier than this. I'd probably take like a 72. Not super crazy heavy, because you could actually do this on the spot. Crush that bell and march. So go single leg stance. I'm squeezing my left butt cheek. Try not to shift the hips. And of course, you could be walking with this, but I can just do the march on the spot. And it's turning those, especially like I said, obliques and core on. Now, like I said, I'd go probably a little bit heavier with this, or you can have that bell and march. Okay, so 3 core drills, 2 hip stability drills. Very, very, very effective, like I said, to teach the hip to stabilize, right? And a lot of times we've seen that stuff like when you lunge and your hip kind of pops out into place, people start getting trigger points, their knees bugging, so on and so forth. So this is just something that's very, very smart to implement into, I would say, a dynamic warm-up session or as a filler, and kind of get rid of those things. And the reason I say this is because doing those drills got rid of, I would say, these soft tissue restrictions, even without any rolling and lacrosse balls and stuff like that. So you got to know, like, your body will compensate. This is a great way to turn the things on that are supposed to be turned on. With that said, I'll see you in the next episode. Take these tips, use them. Coach Lugo's out. Peace.